It always happens around the same time. The room is quiet. The world is asleep. And suddenly, so are you no longer. You open your eyes. Look at the clock. 3:07 a.m. Again, you lie there wondering what woke you. No loud noise. No full bladder. No bad dream. Just awake. And once you're up, it's hard to go back down. Your mind begins its slow spin. Grocery lists, old regrets, vague worries. You shift your pillow. You sigh. You glance at the clock again. 3:28 a.m. You ask yourself, why does this keep happening? You're not alone. In fact, waking between 2 and 4 a.m. is one of the most common sleep disruptions among adults over 60. And it's not always insomnia. It's not always stress. Sometimes it's your body trying to send a message. A quiet one. A gentle signal that something inside needs attention. Because in those early hours, when the world is dark and your mind is unguarded, your body speaks differently. And what it says can change everything about how you sleep, how you wake, and how you move through your day. The problem is, most people try to fix the symptom. I keep waking up without ever asking what's underneath it. They take something, or they ignore it, or they try to relax and end up scrolling on their phone, hoping to bore themselves back to sleep. But the truth is, midnight waking isn't random. It has patterns, triggers, and most importantly, it has solutions. But they aren't one size fits all. They depend on knowing your body, your mind, and your habits with more care than we were ever taught. That's what this video is here to help with. We're going to walk through 7 real reasons why you might be waking up in the middle of the night, and more importantly, how to gently correct each one. These aren't just theories. They're rooted in the real changes that happen in the body and brain as we age. Hormones shift, blood sugar fluctuates, core temperature changes, emotions bubble up, and habits from earlier in life begin to work against us instead of for us. But the good news is, none of this is irreversible. You don't need perfect sleep hygiene or silence or blackout curtains or a pill. What you need is understanding. You need to know what your body is asking for and how to respond. So if you've been waking in the dark and lying there for hours, exhausted by the next morning, this is for you. Because good sleep isn't a mystery. It's a rhythm, and rhythms can be rebuilt. Let's start with one of the quietest but most powerful disruptors of your sleep. Blood sugar dips in the middle of the night. You might not think this applies to you. Maybe you're not diabetic. Maybe you eat healthy. Maybe your last doctor's visit said everything looked normal. But here's the truth. After 60, blood sugar regulation becomes more fragile. Even small fluctuations can wake you up. Not with a jolt, not with hunger, but with subtle restlessness. A nervous system that won't fully relax. A sense that something is off. When you sleep, your body enters a fasting state. That means it relies on stored glucose and other reserves to keep essential systems running. But as we age, our liver's ability to release glucose steadily through the night weakens. Add to that common medications, skipped dinners, low-carb eating patterns, or stress during the day. And by 3 a.m., your brain may sense that fuel is running low. So it wakes you, not with a craving, but with cortisol, with alertness, with a body that suddenly decides it's time to check on things. You might not feel hungry, but you'll feel unsettled, wired, maybe even a little anxious. You lie awake, not knowing why. And the more you think about it, the harder it becomes to fall back asleep. Margaret, 72, experienced this for years. She ate light dinners, mostly salads and soup, and avoided snacking late because she thought it was healthier. But she kept waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. One night, on her daughter's advice, she ate a small spoon of almond butter and half a banana before bed. She slept through the night for the first time in weeks. I didn't think something so small could matter, she said. But my body just needed reassurance. That's what this is about. Not calories, not dieting, but stabilizing. Giving your brain and body just enough to stay steady through the night. Something with a bit of fat and a bit of slow carbohydrate. It doesn't need to be much. A few nuts, a slice of whole grain toast with nut butter, a couple of apple slices. Just enough to hold the blood sugar line. And if you're someone who tends to eat dinner early, 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., this becomes even more important. That's a long stretch to ask your system to go without fuel, especially if you're still active in the evening. So if you're waking up in the early morning hours and nothing else seems to explain it, try this: a light, balanced bedtime snack. Not heavy, not sweet, just steady. Give your body what it needs to stay asleep, not just fall asleep. The third reason your sleep keeps getting interrupted might be hiding in something you barely notice: your core temperature. Most people don't think about temperature when they wake at 2 or 3 a.m., but your body does. In fact, temperature regulation is one of the most essential drivers of healthy, uninterrupted sleep. And as we age, our ability to manage it quietly fades. Here's what's happening. Your body needs to cool down in order to fall asleep. That cooling process begins a few hours before bed and continues into the early morning. But if anything disturbs that slow, steady decline, if you get too warm under the covers, if your room is too cold, if your body overcompensates, you'll wake up not because of discomfort, but because your brain thinks something's wrong. And after 60, these systems become more sensitive. Our skin thins, circulation shifts, hormonal changes, especially lower melatonin and estrogen, can throw off our internal thermostat. That means the same room that felt cozy at 10 p.m. might feel stifling or chilly by 3 a.m., and your body will wake to adjust. Jack, 76, kept waking up drenched in sweat. He assumed it was just age or stress. But after tracking his sleep with a simple thermometer beside the bed, he noticed the temperature in the room rose by 4 degrees overnight. The heater kicked on too aggressively. Once he lowered the thermostat to 65 degrees Fahrenheit and used lighter layers on the bed, his nights changed. "I thought it was me," he said, "but it was just the environment I wasn't noticing." Your body wants consistency, a slow, cool environment. Research shows that the ideal sleeping temperature for older adults is between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, cooler than most people think. And it's not just about the room. It's about your bedding too. Heavy comforters trap heat. Foam mattresses hold it. Even pajamas made from synthetic fabrics can prevent proper heat exchange. So what can you do? Use layers instead of one heavy blanket. That way you can adjust during the night without getting up. Choose breathable fabrics: cotton, linen, bamboo. Avoid hot baths or showers right before bed. Take them earlier in the evening instead. Keep a glass of room temperature water nearby, not cold, which can shock the system. And if you're waking hot and sweaty, it's not failure. It's feedback. Your body is asking for help returning to balance. Sometimes, the fix for 3 a.m. wake-ups isn't in your mind. It's in your sheets. And once your body feels safe again, thermally safe, it can return to its rhythm without needing to wake you up to do it. Sometimes the room is quiet, your body feels okay, the blankets are just right, yet you're awake. Not physically uncomfortable, not in pain, just alert, and your mind starts talking. That's the fourth reason you might be waking up and staying awake. Your thoughts don't know how to settle. This is more common than most people admit, especially after 60. The distractions of the day are gone. The house is dark, the phone is off, and suddenly your mind gets loud. Old worries resurface. Conversations replay. Lists begin forming. Questions you didn't even realize you were carrying bubble up. And your nervous system follows, gently pulling your body out of rest. You might think it's anxiety. Sometimes it is. But often, it's just unprocessed attention. During the day, we're too busy to feel much. We suppress. We postpone. But the mind remembers. And when your environment is finally quiet, those thoughts see an open window, and they climb through. Carol, 74, struggled with this for years. Her body was tired. Her evenings were peaceful, but nearly every night around 3:30 a.m., her brain would wake up. She called it her mental checklist hour. Her daughter suggested something simple: writing down every worry, every task, every thought before bed. Carol started keeping a worry pad on her nightstand. Every evening, she'd write for 5 minutes. "Just getting out of my head," she said, "helped it stay out of my sleep." This isn't magic. It's psychology. The brain treats unresolved thoughts like unfinished business. If it doesn't believe you've addressed something, it'll keep sending gentle alerts, even at 3 a.m. But when you write them down or speak them aloud, or acknowledge them with care, the brain feels heard. It stops pushing. This is also where gentle mental techniques come in. Not forceful go to sleep commands, but soft redirections. Recite a calming phrase with each breath, like "I am safe" or "this will pass." Picture a slow, repetitive image: waves, trees in the wind, a candle flickering. Do a simple gratitude countdown. 5 things you're thankful for from that day. These aren't solutions. They're invitations. Ways to tell your mind, "We can pick this up in the morning. For now, let's rest." And one more thing, avoid getting up and turning on lights unless you have to. Light reactivates alertness. But if you need to move, do it gently. Keep things dim. Try not to pick up your phone. Most importantly, don't panic. Waking up in the night isn't failure. It's just feedback. It might surprise you, but some of the reasons you wake up at night don't begin at night at all. They begin in the middle of your day, in what you eat, how much you move, and even how much light your body gets. That's the 5th reason many older adults struggle with broken sleep. Their daytime rhythm no longer supports nighttime rest. Sleep isn't just a switch you flip at bedtime. It's a cycle that begins the moment you wake up. Every choice you make in daylight hours, what you do with your energy when you eat, how you wind down, either builds momentum toward rest or chips away at it. After 60, our natural circadian rhythms, the body's internal clock, become more fragile. The brain produces less melatonin. Sunlight becomes more essential, and sedentary habits sneak in more easily. That means if you're spending most of the day indoors, sitting for long stretches, skipping meals, or eating too late, your body may simply not know when to rest. It's not stubborn. It's just confused. Linda, 68, was frustrated with her 3 a.m. wake-ups. She tried everything at night: tea, breathing, music, but nothing worked. Then a sleep specialist asked about her daytime habits. Turned out she barely left the house, ate one large meal around 8 p.m., and rarely felt physically tired. She made 3 small changes: a short walk in the morning light, lunch as her main meal, and standing up every hour for 5 minutes. Within a week, her nights were quieter. "I didn't think daytime had anything to do with it," she said. "But I finally felt like I was working with my body, not against it." So what can you do? Get natural light in the morning. Even 15 minutes of sunlight helps reset your body clock and boosts melatonin production later. Move, even gently. Walking, stretching, light chores all help discharge excess energy and reduce stress hormones. Eat earlier. A large meal late in the evening can interfere with digestion and temperature regulation, 2 things that impact sleep. Avoid long naps after 3 p.m. If you need a rest, keep it under 30 minutes and earlier in the day. And just as importantly, make room for pauses. Time to breathe. Time without screens. Because overstimulation during the day often becomes restlessness at night. Your body craves rhythm. And the more consistent your days are, up at the same time, light movement, mindful eating, the more your nights will follow suit. Sleep likes stability. It likes knowing what to expect. And when you offer that, it often gives you more in return. There's another piece of the puzzle that many people overlook, partly because it's so woven into daily life. Your medications. That's the 6th reason so many people over 60 find themselves waking in the middle of the night. Not because the pills are wrong, but because no one ever explained how they might affect your sleep. And the truth is, even medications that help one part of your health can quietly disrupt another, especially when it comes to rest. Here's what's important to understand. As we age, our metabolism slows. That means medications stay in the system longer. Their effects, whether stimulating, sedating, or simply shifting your internal balance, can be more pronounced. And when several medications interact, their impact on sleep can be complex, not obvious. Common culprits? Blood pressure medications, especially diuretics, taken too late in the day. They can cause overnight urination, but also drop your pressure too low during the night, triggering light sleep or midnight wakefulness. Steroids, often used for inflammation, can raise alertness and blood sugar. Beta blockers may reduce melatonin production. Some antidepressants interfere with REM cycles. Even over-the-counter drugs like antihistamines, if used too often, can leave you groggy at bedtime but restless overnight. George, 79, had been waking every night around 2:30 a.m. for months. He assumed it was aging or stress. But during a medication review, his pharmacist pointed out that one of his evening prescriptions included a mild stimulant. He shifted it to the morning. Within 3 days, he was sleeping through the night again. "It wasn't me," he said. "It was the timing. That's often the key. Not stopping a medication, but adjusting when and how you take it." Many medications can be moved to earlier in the day. Others might need to be split into smaller doses. Some combinations may need to be rebalanced by your doctor. So what can you do? Keep a sleep log. Note what time you take each medication and what time you wake up. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist. Ask if any of your prescriptions affect sleep cycles or melatonin. Be mindful of helpers. Some sleep aids or pain relievers can backfire if used too frequently or mixed with other medications. Don't self-adjust. Always work with a healthcare professional when changing dosage or timing. Most importantly, don't blame yourself. If you're doing everything right and still waking up, the answer might be in your pill organizer. You're not broken. You're navigating a complex system, and you're allowed to ask for help making it work better for you. So what do you do when your sleep feels broken? When you wake in the quietest part of the night with no clear reason, just that familiar fog of restlessness, that ache in your ribs that says, you're supposed to be asleep, but you're not? That's when most people start to panic. They lie still, counting the hours left until sunrise, watching the clock, waiting for sleep to return. And often it doesn't. But here's the final and maybe most important truth. Midnight waking isn't failure. It's feedback. Your body isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to speak to you. And when you start to understand its language, blood sugar, temperature, thought patterns, routines, medications, everything begins to shift. Sleep stops being something elusive. It becomes something you build, something you support, something you return to gently, night after night. You've now heard 7 real reasons why your sleep might be interrupted and how to respond. You've seen how a small snack before bed can stabilize your blood sugar, how cooling the room and changing your blankets can reduce 3 a.m. overheating, how letting your thoughts land on paper before sleep can quiet the mental chatter, how your daytime rhythms shape your nighttime ones, how certain medications, even when helpful, might need timing adjustments, and how each of these small insights adds up, not to perfect nights, but to better ones, calmer ones, more compassionate ones. Helen, 80, told me recently, I stopped trying to sleep like I was 30. And when I did that, my sleep got better. That's what this is about. Not chasing the past, but meeting yourself as you are now, with wisdom, with curiosity, and with rhythm. So here's what you could try next. Tonight, before bed, sit in silence for just a moment. Ask yourself, what have I been ignoring? Then choose one gentle shift. One thing from this video that felt true to you. A snack, a breath, a new blanket, a short note in a journal. Do it not with pressure, but with care. See how your body responds. Not all at once, but over time. Because the body remembers. It just needs new instructions. And if this video helped you feel seen, if it gave you something to try, or something to finally understand, let us know. Like the video. Share it with someone else who lies awake at 3 a.m. wondering what's wrong with them. Subscribe to the channel for more insights, more support, and more quiet wisdom for life after 60. Thank you for being with us. Leave a comment below. What wakes you in the night? And what's helped you come back to rest? Your story might be the one someone else needs to sleep better too.